Welcome back. I'm actually smiling because I'm finally doing my Dawnbreaker guide. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and type from below. It's gonna be highly appreciated. But yeah, like from the previous guides, we have done so far Crystal Maiden, Lion, and Undying. And right now we're going to jump into the Dawnbreaker. I think Dawnbreaker is a great position 5 and a great position 4. And that's why today's guide is about both for position 5 and position 4. It is a hero that is absolutely insane. He has a really fine, not great, fine laning stage. But when you get to pick heroes like Dawnbreaker and Lion and Trend Protector, all these heroes, even if you lose a laning stage, which is something that we don't really want to do, they have such a great mid game that you can definitely find use of. So I think Dawnbreaker is literally the type of hero that is going to literally boost your MMR so hard. It's a great laner. It's really good in the mid game. It's great in the late game. The itemization is quite simple. If you're a support, you don't really have a lot of dilemmas. And yeah, before wasting any more time, let's jump into that.
Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
Okay, then let's start with game number 1. I'm gonna show 3 examples, hopefully, from position 5 and 2 examples of position 4. And the first thing that I want to talk is about itemization, right? Usually if I play position 4 or 5, the itemization is the same. You go for 1 set of tangos, salve, 2 sentries, and 1 orb, right? And when you get bounties, you get 2 mangoes, right? The first thing that we know so far is that you need to see the matchup, right? So this was a really tough game for us because we have Dawnbreaker and Ursa versus Viper and Weaver. It's like really hard to play against this double melee versus double range. And on top of that, it's also a really hard game because I have an NS with Mirana versus Undying and Troll, which is literally unwinnable, right? Unwinnable. But what I thought is, and what you also always want to do in your mind is that, unlike, for example, Undying, Dawnbreaker is not that strong to actually, hold 2 heroes here. They can actually rank him down because he's not that strong, So what you want to do is, I usually get the Orb of Venom and I just run the support down. I try to separate the lane into 1v1. So whenever I'm given the the chance to harass the position 4, then I always go for that, right? So we try here, we actually go for First Blood. Okay, this is something we do because we're a little bit desperate. We know that the lanes are not really that great, and Invoker versus OD is a fine matchup, right? We take the First Blood, and that's really good. We get the bounties, and the game starts, right? Sure, we do have the First Blood on Ursa, which is really strong, but the lane starts, and the first thing that you want to see is I buy another sentry and look my consumables. I know that I'm probably not gonna get favorable trade-off because it's really hard to harass a Weaver, and it's also really hard to harass a Viper unless I'm on top of him, right? So the reason why I like Dawnbreaker in the laning sets is because he's quite high health hero. What does this mean? It means that even if they start on me like Undying similar, I don't really care. It's like being on steroids, You just go hard on him. And the fact that you just have more health than him means that you can, even start unfavorably and finally pull off the kill. Now, what I really want to mention that we actually, that doesn't apply on the Dawnbreaker is that he doesn't really harass like the casual position 5s. What I mean, he doesn't really build up his kill potential like Crystal Maiden or Lion, where, you get a lot of mangoes and slowly, you try to burst him. Like, usually on Dawnbreaker just instantly goes for the kill, right? The game starts, and of course, use a sentry here. Really good, so you can actually find wards here. And whenever, what you'll see me do is find opportunities to just find some really good Q. Also, Q is not actually the first spell that, it's not one-way road. You can also go for the hammer, depends on what you need, right? Ideally, this deals more damage, but this is more versatile, right? So it depends on what you need, okay? So here's what I mean. Viper is a really weak hero. It's like all position 5s and all position 3 range. What does, Pagna, Necrophos, and so on, what does all these heroes actually hate the most? And the answer is 2 heroes being on top of them. If 2 heroes are on top of them with full health, then this guy struggles, okay? And all of a sudden, we just go hard, Orb of Venom, And what we try to do is take advantage of the fact that Viper is really weak level 1, and on top of that, Weaver actually can't really protect him. So whenever you have a Viper or something ranged, you usually want a melee, like a Trend Protector, like a Cloak, like a Nyx, to actually help you disengage, okay? So when we got the kill, so far so good, right? And what do you do with the extra gold? You always buy more consumables, because this is definitely a lane that the more levels we get and the more levels they get, the lane is going to be harder. Weaver is going to get bags, Viper is going to get more levels on his poison attack, and he's going to get what's called like his third spell, a corrosive skin. Okay, so the reason why Dawnbreaker is a position 5 in my opinion and not a position 4 or a position 3, we'll break it down, is mainly because if we see the kill again, let's go see the kill again, right? Do you see how we have all this room to chase him down? And we actually said that in the Undying guide as well. If, for example, the Viper is here, let's say it's not the Viper, it's Troll, it's just so hard to make that play, right? But all of a sudden we have all this room to improve. Therefore, in order to take advantage of that, we always want the lane to be here. So what is for us natural to do is to get our level 2 and then just single pull. Not directed camera, hello. We want to single pull. Single pulls are fine if you do it for a specific purpose. It's okay to single pull, you know, you don't always want to deny creeps. Sometimes, if you're a special from ahead, you just want to pull the creeps back, hit them as fast as possible, so the creep wave is gonna meet here, okay? The other thing that I really want to mention is that Dawnbreaker doesn't, you know, it's not any different the way you approach a lane. You always find 2v1 scenarios to actually burst people. You always find, you know, go for the level 2 power spike to burst them, and you always bring more consumables. Okay, so the exception of Dawnbreaker, unlike Crystal Maiden, for example, is that he has really stronger, way stronger mid-game with his global presence from his ultimate, but most importantly, he can actually rotate to other lanes, okay? He can actually set up a thing with his slow. Right, he's quite tanky, so even if he starts, he's not gonna die instantly. So I'm actually hiding here, and we just instantly go 2v1, and you see how Weaver is just not here. She's just doing some other thing, and we just instantly take advantage of that. Again, pulling the camp, right? This one got deworked by Weaver, and she blocked this one, so I took advantage of the other one. And you see how I actually get even more consumables, right? Now, Windblade is a great item to run people down because Dawnbreaker is quite fast. So with the Orb of Venom and the Windblade, it's actually, you know, I'm not, like, no one can outrun me except Weaver. Okay. And second of all, I go for a Clarity. Why do I go for Clarity? Mangoes are for constant use, right? I need mana right now. But if I'm full mana with a Clarity, let's say I get a kill, I go back to stack, and then I stack it. So it's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds by the time I go there, do the stack, kill the stack. So Clarity is going to make way more value, and Clarity is more value for money, definitely. Okay, so the lane continues. So far, this is a really one lane, right? Again, pulling the lane so I can, you know, what I'm trying to do is, you know, make sure that they're constantly, my Ursa is constantly under tower, and we can just run them down. And this is what I mean. Using the Clarity instant, and I'm going to make the most out of it. This guy's out of position again, we killed him, okay? And that's really great, because this is a lane that if they were to play a little bit more careful, they would actually destroy us. Perfect, perfect. Okay, single pulling again. Honestly, there's nothing better to do. And on top of that, I have a Nodi versus Invoker matchup. That means that none of them really cares about the rune. So I might actually rotate it if I needed, if I had something Ember versus Void Spirit to help my mid laner take the rune and deny the enemy rune. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Now I scan and I see Viper is not in the lane. Where is Viper going to be? And if you see, the scan is here. Where is Viper? He was in the jungle, so I might, okay. I'm gonna deny him even more. Block the camp, and go back to the lane. Now, something that I really want to mention, okay? Whenever you have a really good lane, like this is by far a one lane, okay? Whenever you have this type of lane, and you see players keep coming, right? You definitely go back to the lane and keep killing them, right? unless your position 1 is in a position like that to kill them on their own. Now, my OD died, so Dawnbreaker is a hero that really shines in the mid game. Whenever you have the opportunity to gain experience, uncontested XP, go for it. Like, this is a little bit position 4 mentality, but whenever you have a hero that benefits from XP, you might as well go and take XP, okay? Going back to the lane, if Viper is back, you go back and you just try to kill Viper, because, you know, he's quite weak. We killed him, and the last thing I want to say is that, well, we're gonna see about 2-3 minutes more. Stack. Why do we stack? Because I want jungle items, and I instantly kill it, okay? I instantly kill it to get jungle items as fast as possible, to give my Ursa, to give my OD. Now, just because I used all my mana, I'm gonna keep the Kinoptic just to, you know, get a little bit more mana regen to work with, and then I'm just gonna give it to my OD, right? Now, the itemization wise, I'm going for Arcane Boots, but usually what you want to do is get Holy Locket and then just go Aghanims. That's like, this is what I recommend. Holy Locket into Aghanims. In my mind, there are no more items, okay? Babysitting OD a little bit. And of course, you know, the fact that Dawnbreaker has a lot of movement speed allows you to actually move around the map so easy, right? And another reason why I love this hero is because you have a lot of damage with your spells, you have a lot of slow, and you can cut waves, right? I should probably say that in the introduction, but it's a great hero. So we try to set up, we know Troll doesn't have ultimate. This guy dies. And now this is why I love Dawnbreaker, and this is why I really want to show this example, okay? I know that I'm close to level 6, okay? I do know that. So what I do, I try to get XP so I can actually have my ultimate and finally be versatile. So I'm constantly killing that, and this is why I really want you to see that. Do you see the Kinoptic? It suddenly regenerates. Ideally, I want to TP back to the base so I have mana, you know, like to find my, like a tinker, you know, but once. So the moment, I just want you to see my mana, I'm just looking top all the time. I'm instantly TPing, look at that. I'm buying a mango, and then global presence. This is beautiful. I really want you to see that, and if you see, it all starts to connect, okay? Let's go back like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. The first step is, okay, I got a lot of XP just by killing them, right? But we killed them because we kind of outplayed them, or they they disrespected the loss. The stack, instant killing it, taking the jungle item. The jungle item we didn't actually throw because we had no mana, so it started to tick. Then a minute later, let's go back a little bit. Then a minute later, here's what happens. We actually need our level 6, and then we just get our level 6, TP back to the base, and instantly buying a mango because we feel like this is going to, you know, we really need to use some ultimate fast, and then this happens. We save, like, and pretty much we just won the fight, okay? And this is why I love Dawnbreaker. The global presence, the damage early on, the ability to cut waves, and the ability to push waves, and the ability to actually farm, you know, whenever you win a team fight and you want to push around the map. Dawnbreaker has a lot of spells, you know, to actually do that quite easily. It's a great hero. I think it's a really good example of how to play Dawnbreaker a little bit. That's only example number 1, and, you know, it's time to go on example number 2 on how to play Dawnbreaker as post 5. Game number 2, and this time I have a Dawnbreaker post 5 with a Drow Ranger, okay? That's gonna take a while. With a Drow Ranger. And in theory, this is a really good combo. The problem with the Drow Ranger is that it's quite squishy, okay? And we get to play versus Spirit Breaker and Rubick, which is pretty hard, because if you see... Okay, let's go back to mention that as well. How do I know they have a ward there? I'm here, and she tries to attack me. So how does she see me? So it makes a lot of sense that she has a ward. Get to deward that, and the lane starts, right? What do we get? A sentry to deward. A couple of mangas are really good, and we're waiting for the observer ward as usual. So Why is this a really hard lane? First of all, do you see Drow Ranger's damage and Spirit Breaker's damage? It's like, wait, so he can deny a lot. On top of that, I have a Rubick, he has Boots, and it's so hard for me to catch him. So this is already really not good lane. So I know that I can't really trade with Spirit Breaker. I mean, 5 armor, 1k HP. It's just so hard for Dawnbreaker to, I mean, for any hero to do that. So what I'm thinking is deal with this guy. Just focus this guy, you know? And what we aim, actually, and you'll see us fight for that, is whoever takes level 2 faster is going to have the advantage, because he's going to force the initiative and make a really good trade. So we're all about, even me as a post 5, we're all about denying right now. Right? And we don't really interact with each other. We just care about actually denying. Whoever takes level 2 faster is going to force initiative. And now, do you see how we start to right click? And look at that. I get level 2 because I got the Observer. So it means we have 3 spells and they have 2 spells. So all of a sudden, look at that. We just try to force. I know I'm not really sure if we actually tried to get the kill, but I'm not really sure if it's worth it, you know, because we actually waste a lot of consumables. But when you have such a hard lane, you have to go for that. You need to take advantage of the level 2. And of course, it's such a hard lane that look what I get. Another salve and more consumables again and again, because it's a Spirit Breaker, okay? And what do? Pull the lane back, okay? Pull the lane back. Sadly, we're gonna talk about that as well. Pull the lane back, so it's gonna be here, and then we can just repeat the process, okay? Now, I've got a couple of questions on Reddit, or it was on YouTube, I can't recall. What do you do when this happens, right? And personally, I have faith in my teammate that this is not going to happen, but if it happens, actually, you can't really do anything. Guys, like, if you pull and your position 1 does not play carefully, then you just can't do anything, honestly. The only thing you can do maybe is, like, hold the creep wave here, but, you know, right now I'm just so scared that I'm gonna get so much damage. I need to go under tower, okay? So, honestly, there's nothing you can do about that. Regardless, this is a really bad lane. I'm just showing this because, you know, sometimes even when you are from ahead, it's a really bad lane, but it does not matter because Dawnbreaker is gonna find his way to a really good mid game anyways, the moment you have level 6 and level 7. I'm dying here, but honestly, integral if I die. We got outplayed here by Rubick, but even if I were to die, it doesn't really matter, right? I feel like this lane is really hard and there is not much for me to do here, because the way you play Dawnbreaker is if you can trade with the position 3, which is a Spirit Breaker, what you do is trade with the position 4, which is a Rubick with Boot, okay? So what do you try to do? Try to make some other use, like take the bounty and, you know, baiting here. Maybe he goes for the rune. I see that he goes in, so I'm trying to help my teammate. Doesn't work out. Meanwhile, my position 1 dies, but honestly, I'm gonna show that again. It's something that you can't really fix. You know, if he gets charged, for example, right here, it's so hard to deal with, like to kill them. And this is where, when you have these squishy heroes, you need to protect them. But I felt like I will get more value if I'm gonna protect my Invoker, if I shut down Death Prophet, which I can see how it's going to happen with a Cold Snap and the Sunstrike, and we have some kind of kill potential, but I just don't see how we kill Spirit Breaker again when he's so tanky as a hero. So going back to the lane, it's like I was so happy about that, because what I thought is, okay, I will finally, you know, somehow have some use of the hero, right? I'm gonna trade the Rubick, get him out of the lane. And right now I can confidently say I'm gonna show something last, because I use myself here and it just gets cancelled. Yeah, right now I can just say confidently that the lane is lost, and sometimes it's you try to abuse some kind of techniques, let's say, like the level 2 power spike, finding 2v1s, but sometimes the matchup, maybe your post one just screws up so hard, or, maybe it was me that I left him alone there. I shouldn't maybe pull, but I don't really believe that sometimes the lanes are going to, not work. That's a really, really bad lane. We actually turned out to have a really strong mid game, with the Rabbits and the Cataclysm, we against from Invoker and the Phoenix, and we actually come back to the game. But I think that's an example that, Dawnbreaker can have a really bad lane, but it doesn't matter that much because you have a really strong mid game. Right now, I'm gonna show one last clip of position 5 Dawnbreaker where it worked out really good because we have used the same mechanic, but this time it kind of worked out. So let's jump to game number 3. Welcome back to our last game as post 5. Coming into this game, I really felt like we are going to have a really hard time, right? I have a Dawnbreaker and I'm with Wraith King. That's really hard as a matchup, right? That's honestly really hard as a matchup because we don't really combine together. Generally, Wraith King, I prefer if I have a Lion where I can just suck all their mana away from the opponent and then he has a free lane. But I feel like it's not that strong of a laner. Yeah, he has skeletons in the stand, but I just don't see how we combine together. And so I recall that I thought I'm going to have a Shadow Shaman and I'm going to have a Mars, which is like really, really strong together, but quite weak individual. What I mean, Wraith King versus Mars is a fine matchup, and Dawnbreaker versus Shadow Shaman is a really good matchup. I can destroy him if I'm on top of him. On top of that, we got to click him. He has boots, right? So what I'm thinking is, if this guy gives me the the chance to hit him all the time, then I'll just go for it. Okay. And lastly, what I want to say is that whenever you do that, even if you do it and you trade unfavorably, you still have to go for it. That's why I believe that I trade good with Shadow Shaman, but I still believe that I'm going to have a lot. I will receive a lot of damage because look at his damage and look at his nuke. 104 damage nuke, 74 damage. It's not, he's not to be feared, but still we have to respect his damage. Okay, and of course, we're waiting for our observer here and our classic items, and we go for Tangut because we're gonna lose a lot of health. And look what Shadow Shaman does. He tries to trade with me, and this is like he plays on autopilot. I'm like, okay. Instantly, I'm gonna take advantage because look at that. This is like one scenario, and this is like beautiful for us. It's actually beautiful, and I'm not actually letting him here. I'm just like, no. You're not gonna go to the lane. I'm gonna, because level 2 power spike, yeah, it does help me, but it doesn't really help Wraith King. Okay, so but if Shadow Shaman and Mars takes level 2, they become so much stronger. Mars is gonna take the spear, Shadow Shaman is gonna get Sackle or something. It's just so hard for us to deal with them. So I'm just like, okay, whenever I'm giving the chance to deal with to screw up with the Shadow Shaman, I'm gonna go for it. Now this is where I kinda screwed up, I feel like, and I had to TP back. Because in my attempt, and this is something that I also tell to my students to avoid, let's go back a little bit before. In my attempt to screw up with him, I kind of, I became like a sandwich, So I pulled that. I should probably just run here, honestly. Something like that. But right now, yeah, I just got sandwiched. Hopefully this guy didn't have his Q, right? Big cooldown. I need to use my salve, and guess what's my next items? Salve. Right, I need to buy another salve. Pulling the creeps back, and why do I play like that? Since we don't really have the level 2 power spike, think about it. Why do I play like the lane is already lost? Because I don't feel like we're gonna win this lane, right? So what I want to do is give my Wraith King the most amount of XP that I can, so he can go to the jungle. If I have a Drow Ranger, Slark, Ricky, PL, PA. These heroes have level 6 power spike, so I know that I want to give them the level 6 power spike, and then they can just go to the jungle and farm. But if I have Morphling, Terrorblade, Wraith King, Antimates, the more levels they get, the faster they farm. So every little XP counts. Okay? And when you have a hero like Wraith King, until he says, I'm good, you can just rotate. What do I do? And what I'm thinking is, okay, I need to constantly sip him salve and sip him tangos so he can be fine in the lane. I kind of screwed up here. I could have gotten the kill. That's fine. And I realized that it's been almost 2 minutes. I still don't have my level 2. And all of a sudden, I'm just getting my level 2 here. The lane ward, really important. We always focus lane ward. You know, need the lane ward. We get the kill here. And what do we instantly do? Look at that. This guy's alone. Right? We get the first blood with the lane ward. And what do? We instantly... by the way, that's why you need mangoes. You instantly... Pink. Are we gonna kill him? Most likely not. But all of a sudden, my hero has a lot of use. And you see how little XP he has. Right? I don't know why my rating did that, but... we got first blood. What's my next items? Is a lane 1? No. Is it still going on? Yes. What does this mean for us? More consumables. Like, I think I'm gonna say that to every guide. More consumables, right? And since I'm feeling quite... You know, I don't feel like we are going to win this lane yet. So how can you make sure that every time you have an engagement versus their heroes, Shadow Shaman and Mars, you're gonna be on top of them? And I realize I can get boots here, but no. Boots is a luxury. What you need is raindrops. So you are actually on top of them. I actually managed to stack and pull. That was a little bit unfortunate here. I also fucked up here, cut the wrong tree. So I was a little bit mad at myself, but it's fine, right? Okay, let's talk a little bit here. Do you see my positioning here? I'm trying to be a little bit outside of the range XP, but on top of that, I really want to pull this one, but I'm afraid that it might jump on my rating. So look at my positioning here. And look at that. I really want to mention that because I think it's quite beautiful. I have 2 options to pull, so that was I was a little bit more relaxed, you know, like worst case I'm just gonna pull. And look at that. Mars is always needs to be always in front of Shadow Shaman. The same thing like in the first game. Instead of a Weaver Viper lane, if it was a Weaver, no, not a Weaver, if it was a Viper Clockwork and Clockwork was behind Viper, then that was a problem because we can still get the jump on the Viper. So look at that. Do you see how close it is and how much health both of us has? Both of us have, makes more sense in English. So what we do is like we really just trade, you know, we just hit. I get speared into the tower, and this is actually really good, right? Like remember, this is a lane we are supposed to survive, okay? Even if I die, even it doesn't really matter. This guy dies. I get speared in the tower. I think Queen of Pain just kills me right now. That's fine. Better me than my rating, right? So, coffee time. When you have a Dawnbreaker, do you see how I just look on other lanes? I'm thinking, can I do anything on some other lane first? Because you can actually rotate. Lastly, Salve and the Clarity, right? I think we are at this point that mangoes are not really that helpful anymore because mangoes in my mind are for the lane. Okay, and this guy's alone, so we try to make something happen on this guy. I hasted here to use Q, so I'm like, fuck it, just use that. And now that I feel like, okay, my rating is already level 6, whatever he is, I can actually get my boots, I can actually get out of the lane, okay? And I just TP mid. Why do I TP mid? 3 XP. I don't mind wasting my TP because I might get level 6 soon, and then I can just get to use ultimate to actually move to an area. That's why I love Dawnbreaker as a hero. Right? 3 XP is really, really good for us because what do? You can get to have global presence. Killing the small camp, maybe I get some jungle items. Wraith King doesn't want to skill ultimate, it happens. And look at that. Okay, I really want to mention that. Do you see that? Why do I instantly use my hammer, right? Why do I do that? because I want to have ultimate. But I'm not using Starbreaker because then I don't have enough mana to use ultimate, you know. And right now, what do? I'm just looking for opportunities. You see how I'm just moving ball? I'm just looking for opportunities to use my ultimate. And it's really good combination with the Lion and the Sun King because I already have a really good setup. Well, trying to get the tower, you know, casually. If you want, I'm just going into the mid game right now. If you want your post one to have a really good time to farm, make sure you get the offlane tower so you'll enable this farming pattern, right? Where he's kind of safe. The only exception to that is if you have heroes like Slark, Ricky, where they depend a little bit more on the lane creeps rather than the jungle, you know. Tried to use ulti, didn't work out, but in the end, showing the network, this is a lane that we're supposed to lose, and I feel like we didn't really do that bad, we didn't really do that good, and, you know, all of a sudden it's even. So we actually managed to show a really good laning stage, a really bad laning stage, and the good thing is that you survive the laning stage as Dawnbreaker. What does this mean? That the middle game with your ultimate is really good. You can push waves and still have global presence, similar to Trend Protector, for example, where you can just push a wave with your Q, Nature's Grasp, but you also have Living Armor. And I think Dawnbreaker is the type of hero that you will definitely see improvement as post 5, as long as you get to land your spells correctly. Now we'll jump to position 4, which I think is the same mindset, but you're a little bit more greedy. So let's jump into that. Game number 1 as position 4, right? So the starting items are actually the same, right? The only difference here is I didn't buy any sentries because I don't feel like it is a problem for me to contest the small camp, right? Or I might block it, or I can just body block it, okay? Now, what's the difference between the position 4 and the position 5? Is that with the position 5 you have all this room to chase, while with the position 4 you always need to adapt on the hero that you have with. So you have something range like Necrophos, for example. You try to get level 3 from Necrophos and you're just cool. You're with Lycan like I am right now, well, I'm not really gonna have kill potential, am I? And I know that his power spike is level 6 or Helm of Iron Will, okay? So whenever he gets this item, I'm going to feel way more relaxed, that I can move around the map. So what do I do here is go to the safe lane. I start to the safe lane. I feel like this is a really good, solid idea to start on the safe lane and punish greedy picks. Okay, it's important to punish greedy picks, and I know that they have a Leshrac position 3. It is a hero that if we kill a couple of times, he cannot come back. He can go back to the jungle. That's really important, right? He just cannot go back to the jungle because he just doesn't do that. Other heroes, for example, Tidehunter, Elsie, Centaur, Axe, can come back to the jungle, but if we kill actually Lesser a couple of times, he doesn't have TP, then he can't even walk to the lane. He's gonna get harassed so much. So I start to the safe lane. Maybe we find some kills. I feel like it was really sloppy, and this is like the reason why I just placed this lane ward. And we're just hiding here to find first blood, and I feel like it was like quite sloppy. It was quite sloppy. I went for the hammer here, unlike previous time where I went for the Starbreaker, and I thought, this isn't happening. You might as well go to the bot lane. Okay, gave it a shot, and the moment I realized it's not gonna happen, we go back to the lane. What do? What I say, damage control. Even if you kill top lane, even if you don't kill, the important thing is that, when you go back to the lane, you have to go A, because if you don't, your position 3 is gonna cry. B, because he is probably in a 2v1 scenario, so he's quite harassed, right? He received a lot of damage. So you need to do a little bit of damage control, absorb a little bit of damage for him, and he's gonna be fine. And you see how they're both level 2 and I'm level 1, so they can definitely, force us a lot. I'm waiting for my level 2, and you see how the lane is kind of pushed. So what I'm thinking is, the way you win position the offlane, like in my mind, the offlane is the simplest, the easiest lane to win. So what you want to do is like push the lane here, Chup, and side pull. And the lane just goes up, and then you have all this room to chase. So you kind of create the safe lane situation in the offlane, okay? Unlike the previous, time, I don't really have the luxury of, dealing with the lion, because you see, he is just too deep into the tower. But if I'm giving the chance to actually harass him, if I'm giving the chance to actually right-click him, I'm gonna take it, okay? And if you ever play lion, like let's say you are the lion, what you should do is play this side of the jungle. Because right now, what does lion actually do? He gives me a chance to deal with him, to actually be useful. They harass him, but I'm happy with that. I'm actually happy with that. And you see how Drow Ranger is all of a sudden way like he's not in the tower? What do we want to do is actually try to go for the kill. Look at that, he's just too far ahead. And this is what you want to do with push and side pull. Right now, they just created themselves. They hit us, they pull all the aggro to them, so the lane is being pushed because our creeps hit them and their creeps hit the creeps. So in the long-term run, the lane is actually pushed. So all of a sudden, look at that. Right now, even if you don't kill him, just doesn't matter. Remember, this is a lane that we are supposed to survive, right? It's a Drow Ranger versus Lycan. If you don't know about that, like Lycan is one of the best heroes against Drow Ranger, right? He just gets the Helm of Dominator and he just goes really hard on him. And of course, Dawnbreaker always aims for the kill, right? You don't really do this, harass, little damage. You always go for big numbers. You always try to do the most amount of damage and find the kill. That was ugly. That was ugly. But I felt, maybe if I had a little bit more mangoes, we could actually force him. Now, last thing. That pause gonna take a while, right? Last thing. This is like where I'm actually, think that we can't really do anything. My guy has Helm of Dominator, and well, he can't really get harassed a lot by Drow Ranger. Which, maybe if she's level 6, she can actually deal a lot of damage, but right now she's not. So what I'm thinking is, let's go back. It's time for me to move. The moment I see that my Kunkka is getting initiated, what do? I get the region to have more mana. And then I'm just trying to make something happen. Doesn't work out, right? So what do? I probably will, try to get a little bit of XP, Because what do I need to do is get more XP to get my level 6. When I have my level 6, then the game feels a lot easier. And now this will a little bit of communication. I gave him mango, and I'm like, okay, can we just go? I was like a little bit unfortunate. That was probably my mistake, and my Lycan became a little bit angry, but this is lane stage where I'm gonna get Tome of XP because I'm the position 4, so I don't really care about XP that much. Rather than if I have a really greedy offlaner, what I'm going to do is mainly focus on him having a good time, because Dawnbreaker is the type of hero that has a really strong mid game, right? You can get the kill if you have some really strong combo. Let's say I have a Viper with me or a Razor, then it's a completely different thing. But honestly, I prefer having an initiator, and this is why I believe Dawnbreaker is not in a position 3, because he doesn't initiate, right? It's like a little bit like Timbersaw, for example, where he's really big, he can deal a lot of damage, but for all I know, I'd prefer have a Tidehunter or a Sand King with a Blink Stun. That's, you start the fight with such a good advantage. So I prefer having a really good initiator or a really greedy offlaner that's gonna work out. And even if that means that I'm gonna have this amount of, this hard time. So my Lycan got the Helm of Dominator. I'm just gonna show what happens when I have my level 6. So I have my level 6, and right now I feel so confident because my Lycan can never die. I can just run them down, right? So all of a sudden, you see, like, you have this amazing spell, And that's why don't get so upset with the laning stage on Dawnbreaker. Of course, we're gonna show the next position 4 game where you'll see that sometimes you want to rotate more rather than be in the lane. A little bit like this game, but I feel like what I try to tell you is that you always need to adapt to what position 3 you have. If you have a greedy offlaner, Viper, Razor, Pagna, Windranger, yes, then you can play super aggressive, and you should play super aggressive. But if you have something greedy, like Enigma, like I showed you in the next game, Lycan, Axe, or maybe with Axe you're a little bit more aggressive, like Center, where you don't really have kill potential, you know, then it's okay to move around the map and do other stuff, because you have a lot of spells, you have a stun, you have a slow, and you have a lot of tools to actually work with other lanes. So without wasting time, let's jump to the last game. Welcome back. This is game number 5 as Dawnbreaker, or game number 2 as position 4 Dawnbreaker, and I think this is a really good game to watch on how to approach the position 4 generally, and with the Dawnbreaker example, okay? The first thing that you want to do is always you want to punish the really greedy picks, okay? That means any range position 3 or something that when it has a level 3, level 4 power spike to get to kill it before you actually, it actually goes to level 3, level 4. So in this game, I really thought they had a Timber Show position 3. I'm like, okay, guys, I have Trend Protector, I have a PA, I have Dawnbreaker with the Orb of Venom. We might as well try to kill him, okay? Before he gets level 3 with his power spike, we have 3 slows, we can actually get to kill him. So you even see me drawing, and hey, let's go for first blood. We have a lot of kills. It ends up having a silencer position 3, which is even better for us. So I just give the call to go and, try to go for first blood, right? And you see, here, I go for hammer again. Sometimes if you're on top of the target, you want to go for Starbreaker. If you're not on top of the target, you go for Starbreaker. Right, so we kill him, and look at that. What is he naturally going to do? He's going to TP, right? This is what I'm saying. Punish the position 3 when it's greedy. So what do? I'm hiding, right? I'm hiding here. I'm getting a little bit tilted just because I'm not really sure why Trent just pushes him over. He just shows up, and we just kill him, right? Or we don't kill him. It doesn't matter. In theory, he's dead, right? This guy's dead. Remember, he can never show up in the lane. And what do? Like in the previous game, we go to the other lane and we do damage control. What does this mean? What does damage control mean? It simply means that you go to the lane where it's 2v1 and you try to babysit him and, maybe absorb a little bit of damage. So you can, balance the lane out. From what I understand, they have a position 4 Juggernaut, and they actually want to try lane to find the kill with the Ogre. I'm afraid that, right now, he might spin me, so I use myself, and see what I'm doing. I could go back, but no, I wanna go back. I can go back to the base, but I wanna go back to the lane actually to actually help my Enigma. Now, if we think Enigma is not the type of hero that does what, that struggles a lot in the lane, he's considered lane dominator, not actually lane dominator. Rather than he just makes sure you just block these camps. He just sets here and he just denies a range creep all the time. So my job in this lane is, once the lane is here and these 2 are blocked, then we can do what? We can actually leave the lane to do other things. I don't want to to suck a lot of XP from Enigma. Rather than I just want to get my level 2 and just move around the map. And you see what I'm doing? I'm just trying to somehow be active. Maybe trade a little bit with the Dawnbreaker. Trade a little bit with the Ogre Magi. And that's pretty much it. The lane is in a really good position, look at that. So I'm like, okay, all I need is, and I even call it to my position 3 Enigma, can I just get my level 2, right? And then I'm out of here, right? I'm out of here and it's time for me to move on. This is a lane I cannot really kill, or if I can kill, maybe I should wait for level 5, so Eidolons from Enigma are a little bit stronger, And what do? We start moving around the map. This is a Timbers in the mid lane. It's actually not... It's quite strong, I want to say, but it's not, that bastard. And some people think, okay, it's Timber Summit, we can't kill him, but that's not really the case. He's half HP. You get to see that he has a lot of stacks, but it doesn't matter because I have an Exort Invoker, which is a lot of damage. So what does this mean for me? We can just get to kill him, okay? Now, something that I really want to mention, let's go 1 minute behind, and we'll just get back to that. Our early rotations that we did, do you see how Silencer, he can't really play? Even if Juggernaut was here, it's a Trent and the PA that can easily jump on Silencer, even if he has a hero like Clockwork. So the fact that we got First Blood, and then we kinda not killed him, but killed him, you know, because practically he was dead, because he has no health, so he couldn't show up on the lane. That means, in terms of last hit, this is my safe lane. This is my position, the enemy position 3. So what does this mean for us? And while, you know, this is like 4 and 5, Enigma can always come back. He can go to the jungle. Silencer, a Leshrac, a Pagna, a Necrophos cannot really go jungle level 2, level 3. Enigma can say, you know, fuck, lane didn't work out. I will go and I will just go jungle. I'm gonna get my level 6 and I'm gonna be active. Okay. Now, we tried to get, as we said, we killed the mid lane, and then what do? Like that. Bot, I'm like, okay, I can't do anything here. I might as well kill top, okay? So I'm instantly running top, you know. I have literally, in the position 4 wall, you want, like, if I have to simplify it, to go to the lane that you will have the most impact. So you kind of balance helping the safe lane versus not helping your off lane. And you're like, okay, I can't really, Enigma is going to have way better time than a Silencer, right? And you see how we move around the map. Now we kill top, what do? Ideally I want to kill again, but right now I'm a little bit out of mana, so I bring Clarity. Why Clarity and not Mango? Because I move a lot around the maps, a lot of the lanes, like bot, mid, and top. So what does this mean for us is I'm gonna have a lot of time, so Clarity makes more sense. This is a really good example why I also love Dawnbreaker. This is a Juggernaut, even if it's support, right? And look how much health I have, right? He gets to spin me. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't really care, right? I can actually get to trade with you. Sadly, we don't really get the kill here. Like, he missed a Sunstrike. Shit happens. And then, all of a sudden, we try to focus a lot this Timbersaw. Again, didn't work out, but it's still fine. Remember, this is a game that I feel like we don't necessarily have the best draft, just because we have a position 3 Enigma. We don't have initiation, and on top of that, he's going to struggle a lot to land black holes because there is a Silencer. So moving a lot around the map and making good plays is what will, you know, keep us into the game. I see something happening bot. I run bot. Nothing to say here, honestly. Ideally, we want our level 6. And look at that. This guy's out of position. Ideally, I would love to kill him. Doesn't work out. And I die. But it just doesn't matter when you get to die with Dawnbreaker, right? Because we just want to have a really fine laning stage. And then use our ultimate and our spells to farm more, to push waves more, to apply pressure on the map. And to use our global presence to find kills. And of course, like any position 4... I get to TP in the mid lane, right? Because I got to see that my Invoker doesn't have TP. So I'm gonna get some kind of XP, right? And minute 7 jungle items, right? Don't forget that whenever you see minute 7, you always try to get some kind of... you want to kill some kind of jungle creep, so you'll get jungle items. I got my level 5. A little bit about skill build. I feel like I've seen a lot going for one build, but I feel like Starbreaker is a lot of damage, and this is a game where I feel I can actually deal damage a little bit, especially to heroes like Silencer, even if it's post 3. He's playing from behind, so I can actually deal a lot of damage, and it also allows me to push waves way faster. Again, what do we do here? Let's go back to explain a little bit. Something about, you know, like watching sometimes what's going on. Do you see Timbersaw? What spells he just used his Timber Chain. So let's see that from his perspective. He doesn't have Timber Chain all of a sudden, so I can get to use that spell. And then if he used Timber Chain, I can get to use a hammer to chase him. Okay. And it's really important that you see what's going on. And you get to see, and you're there to prevent that. Lastly, I'm almost level 6, so I actually stay here to suck XP. I got my level 6. That was a little bit unfortunate. You know, we could actually turn this around. Probably if I were PA, I would just do the same thing, right? I would just sit there and, you know, I would probably just blink and TP out. Didn't work out. But it actually shows how strong this hero is, okay? I'm actually managing to fight 1v3 right now, and you see how tanky I am right now. And I think all of the examples shows that, you know, you try to abuse the level 2 power spike, get a lot of XP, always like Crystal Maiden. It's like Dawnbreaker, in my mind, is a combination of a really weak post 5 and the lane dominator. So you can actually, it's a hero that you can get the most MMR, I feel like, right? Trend Protector is the same category as Dawnbreaker, and it's a hero that I actually do suggest you practice a lot, because it also improves a lot of aspects. Watching around the map, power spikes, itemization is quite simple, but maybe, you know, if you're playing from behind, you go for Glimmer Cape. If you play versus Clockwork and you have a Drow Ranger, you need to go for Force Up. It's a really solid support to not only gain MMR, because in order to gain MMR, you need to improve overall as a player. It's really important, though, to get to play him, in my mind, so you can improve all your aspects and grow as a player. Hopefully that's a guide. If you enjoy it and you loved it, I'm pretty sure that's a little bit big as a guide, but if you do enjoy it, please, you know, comment below and ask if you want any specific guides. My next guide's probably gonna be Trend Protector and Bane. I've got a lot of requests about Ogre and Enchantress. Also, there was a guy said that you want Silencer, but that might take a while. Like, Enchantress is something I might do, but I don't believe a lot of people play Enchantress. And Ogre and Silencer, I think they are quite simple as heroes. Like, you could play them as Crystal Maiden, for example. Regardless, that's a video. Hope you liked it. Please, you know, again, comment below if you do want some guide or if you want some explanation. These were 5 examples, not lane stomp or not fitting. It just shows the thought process of actually improving and actually dealing with lanes. It will not work every time, but if you're on point and you're not playing an autopilot, most likely it's gonna work out. That's it. GG. Hopefully you do enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next guide.